Good day, or good evening, good afternoon, anywhere you are in the world. This is the Anonymous Guy Confession. Sorry, the life it started really late. Excuse. Um, how are you all doing now? How you all doing? Hope your day was fine. So let's just go straight um, to the confessions for today. Okay. And the first one here says that I'm a 32-year-old marketing coordinator living in a quiet suburb outside Chicago. And for almost 4 years, I was a compulsive shoplifter who stole thousands of dollars worth of clothes, makeup, and electronics from big stores, even though I had a good salary. I can't believe I'm admitting to this, but the rush and guilt destroyed my self respect until the day I almost lost everything. It started after a bad breakup. I felt empty and invisible. So no one after so one afternoon in a big departmental store, I slipped a lipstick into my bag, but to see if I could, my heart pounded the whole way out. No alarm, no one noticed. That night I tried it on and felt things weird high, like I had taken back control. Within weeks, I became every weekend. It became every weekend. I did plan outfits with big coats and bags, target busy times, and work out with hundreds of dollars of merchandise. I stole designer jeans, expensive skincare, even small electronics. I didn't need, even small electronics I didn't need. I hid everything in a separate closet at home and told myself it was harmless because the stores were huge corporations. But it wasn't harmless. The guilt started eating me alive. I lie awake, replaying the moment the security guard almost looked my way. I started avoiding my friends because I was scared they would notice my new purchases. My boyfriend at the, at the time kept asking where I got the money for all the nice things I did. I make up stories about online. I make up stories. Sorry, I make up stories about online sales. Deep down, I knew I was becoming someone I didn't recognize, a liar who stood just to feel something. The worst part was how he changed how I saw myself. I used to be the responsible one in the family, the one who helps everyone. Now I was sneaking around like a criminal. One time I stole a beautiful leather jacket for my sister's birthday. I watched her it, wear it with this big smile, and I felt sick because I knew it was stolen. I started returning some items anonymously in the middle of the night just to ease the guilt, but I couldn't stop the cycle. It all came crashing down last year. I got too confident in a mall, and a loss prevention officer had been watching me on cameras. They stopped me at the exit with a bag full of unpaid items. The humiliation was worse than anything I imagined. Handcuffs in public, my face on the security footage, the long interview where I cried and admitted it wasn't my first time. They pressed charges, but because it was my first arrest, I had no prior record. The judge gave me probation, community service, and mandatory counseling. Those months of therapy forced me to face why I did it. It wasn't about the stuff, it was about feeling worthless after years of people pleasing and never feeling enough. I completed every hour of community service, paid full restitution to the stores, and started volunteering at women's shelter to make amends. I deleted every stolen item from my life and told my family the truth. It was the hardest conversation I have ever had, but they forgave me and supported me through it. Today, I still feel shame when I walk into a store, but I also feel free. I haven't stolen anything in 14 months. The crime gave me a temporary high and a permanent scar on my soul. If you are watching this and ever made you have ever taken something that wasn't yours, please stop before it stop you. The guilt never leaves, but the chance to become better is real. I'm a living proof. Wow. Wow. This particular confession is actually nice. And this is the kind of confessions we'll be reading out today. These are the kind of confessions we'll be reading out today. So the truth is that the lady in question here actually um, did the right thing when it comes to, um, well, I say, oh God, I don't know why English is not my first language, so I don't really know the right word, the right English word to use. I don't really know the right English word to use. But nevertheless, the kind of confessions that we have today is the ones about crime, and how people were able to come out of it. That's the kind of confessions we have today. So let me go to the next one. The next one says, I'm a 45-year-old former accountant in a middle-sized city in Ohio, and 2 years ago, I embezzled money from the small family business where I worked for 15 years because I convinced myself it was the only way to help my sick mother. I paid every cent back and still carried the weight of betraying people who trusted me like family. The owner was like a second father to me. He hired me when I was young and taught me everything. When my mom got diagnosed with cancer, the medical bills piled up faster than my salary could handle. One night after closing, I saw how easy it would be to move a small amount from the business account to cover one bill. I told myself I pay it back in a month. That small amount became larger amount over 8 months, almost $47,000 total. I covered my tracks with fake invoices and adjusted spreadsheets so the book still balanced. Every time I transferred money, I felt sick, but the fear of losing my mom made me keep going. I watched the owner celebrate hitting sales target while I knew part of that money was missing because of me. I avoided eye contact at staff meeting. I started even having panic attacks in bathroom. The guilt was constant. I couldn't enjoy family dinners because I kept thinking about the betrayal. When my mom passed, I finally stopped, but the damage was done. An external auditor caught the discrepancies during a routine review. The owner called me into his office with tears in his eyes and asked if it was me. I broke down and confessed everything. He could have sent me to prison, but because I had already started paying it back and he knew about my mom's illness, he chose not to press charges. Instead, I lost my job, my reputation in the industry, and the respect of everyone who knew me. I spent the next year working two jobs. I repaid the full amount plus interest. I wrote apology letters to every employee. The owner eventually forgave me enough to give me a reference for a job, but I never forget the look on his face the day he found out. The crime didn't just steal money. The crime didn't just steal money. It stole my peace and my trust of people who never deserve to be hurt. If you are in a desperate situation right now, please do not do what I did. Ask for help, talk to a family, look for a legal option. The temporary relief isn't worth the lifetime of regret. I wake up every day trying to be the man who was before, and I made that choice. Sorry, let me say that take again. I wake up every day trying to be the man I was before. I made that choice. Okay, so we can see how nice this man boss was or is, honestly. Not pressing charges, and also not being able to forgive. Being able to forgive is something good to emulate. It's something good to emulate. And it's beautiful, actually beautiful, how it all ended up. It's actually beautiful. And guys, before I go say the next confession, yeah, there is a gift too for new subscription right now. You automatically get the chasing chicken emote and baby chick slippers for free from Minecraft. It's only available until May 5th. So if you have been thinking about supporting the channel, now is the perfect time. Okay, let me just put it in the chat box so that all of you can see it. Okay, so please support the channel, guys. Please support the channel. Please, guys, support the channel. Okay, so on to the next. Next one says, I'm a 28-year-old former waitress in a small town in. Sorry, let me take that again. God, what is happening to my voice? Sorry, I don't know what's happening to my voice. I'm a 28-year-old former waitress in a small town in Oregon, and 3 years ago, I staged a fake car accident to claim insurance money after I got behind on rent and felt completely trapped. I thought it was a victimless crime until the guilt and the investigation nearly destroyed my life. I was working double shift, barely making ends meet, and my landlord was threatening eviction. A friend casually mentioned how easy some people made insurance claim look. In my desperation, I researched how to stage a minor fender bender that wouldn't hurt anyone. I picked an empty parking lot at night, slightly tapped a pole, and called the police to report it as another car The fleeing, hitting me and fleeing. I exaggerated the neck pain and filed the claim the next day. The insurance company paid out a few thousand dollars. The insurance company paid out a few $1,000s, and I caught I caught up on rent. For a short time, I felt relief, but then the nightmare started. I kept seeing claims adjusted faces during the interview and wondering if they believed me. I avoided driving past that parking lot. Every time my phone rang, I panicked thinking it was the insurance company with more questions. 6 months later, they reopened the case after a tip from a security camera that caught the part of the lot. They interviewed me again, and this time I cracked down, crack under the pressure and admitted everything because no one was hot and the amount was small. They offered me a settlement instead of pressing full charges. But I still had to pay back the money plus fines. I lost my job when the story got out in a small town. My family was disappointed and confused why I would do something so stupid. I spent the year in in community service and counseling, learn how to learn how my money stress had pushed me to a breaking point. I now work two honest jobs and live within my means. The crime taught me that shortcuts only create longer, harder roads. I still feel ashamed when I see insurance commercials, but I use this that shame I use that shame as motivation to be better. If you are struggling financially, please reach out for real help instead of risking everything like I did. The fear of getting caught never goes away, but the chance to rebuild does. Wow. Wow. So she um she had to I like how she come out openly though. I like how she come out openly. I like how she come out openly. That was nice. That was nice. Mm. Why I cannot really contribute in all this confession is all because the all of them, according to my producer, says they actually gave a good conclusion. So the only thing I will have to be saying is that follow their advice or hacking to their words. Okay. So let's go to the next one. I am a 39-year-old freelance graphic designer living in a city in Michigan, and for 4 years I deliberately hide a large portion of my freelance income from the tax authorities because I convinced myself the government didn't need my money as much as my growing family did. The stress of living with that secret almost broke my marriage. Wow. How? When my wife and I had our first child, the expenses exploded. Instead of reporting all my clients' payments, I started keeping some cash, some cash jobs off the books and under reporting on my taxes. It seemed so simple at first, just a few thousands here and there. Now, over the time, added up to tens of thousands I never declared. I told myself it was temporary and I fixed it when things got better. But the fear grew every tax session. I lie awake calculating what I owe and worrying about audits. I became paranoid about mail from the IRS and I started snapping at my wife over small things because the secret was eating me from the inside. She noticed I was distant and thought I was having an affair. The guilt made me a worse husband and father because I was always mentally somewhere else. Last year, the tax authority sent a notice about discrepancies in my filings. I panicked and hired an accountant who helped me come clean through the amnesty program. I paid every penny I owed plus penalties and interest. It wiped out our savings and forced us to downsize our home, but it also saved my marriage. I sat my wife down and told her everything. She cried, but she stayed at work, and we walked through it together. And I now report every single dollar and even volunteer to help other freelancers understand honest tax practices. That crime didn't just risk my freedom, it risked the trust of the woman I love, and the future I wanted for my kids. If you are tempted to hide income, please don't. The temporary extra money isn't worth the years of anxiety and the damage to your relationship. Honestly, the only way to sleep at night. Honesty is the only way to sleep at night. Mm. To be frank, this one actually makes me understand why the other confessions always have issues with their family after they do come out clean. Yeah. So it makes sense to know that what you are doing does not just affect you, but also the loved ones, also your loved ones. So it's actually it's actually nice and very thoughtful. The funny thing about all this confession is that everyone they are new to crime. Yeah, they are new to crime because the guilt is really eating them up from the inside. So it means they are new to crime. So people like me that is still new to crime, I believe I will feel this way. I believe I will feel this way. Okay, so the next one says I'm a 36-year-old former office moderator in a mid-sized company in Atlanta. And 2 years ago, I leaked internal company documents to a competitor out of pure jealousy and resentment towards my boss who had passed me over for promotion. I thought it would make me feel powerful, but it only made me left it only left me with deep regret and a ruined career. I had worked there for 8 years and watched younger colleagues get promoted while I stayed in the same role. When my boss gave the latest promotion to someone I felt was less qualified, something in me snapped. I copied some internal memos and project timelines, not that could hurt customers or break laws in a major way, and anonymously sent them to a rival firm. I told myself it was harmless office politics. Within weeks, the competitor used the information to win a big contract our company had been chasing. My boss was devastated, and the whole team felt the impact. I watched the stress spread through the office and realized I had hurt people who had nothing to do with my personal grudge. The guilt kept me up at night. I started making mistakes at work because it was distracted. I was distracted by my own shame. When the company launched an internal investigation, I couldn't take it anymore. I confessed to the HR and resigned before they could fire me. They chose not to pursue legal action because the documents weren't highly sensitive, but the damage to my personal reputation was done. Word spread in the industry, and I struggled to find new work for over a year. I spent months in therapy unpacking how resentment had turned me into someone I didn't recognize. I wrote apology letters to my former colleagues, even though I knew they might never forgive me. Today, I work in a completely different field, and I make sure every decision I make is guided by integrity instead of jealousy. That single act of sabotage cost, didn't just cost me my job, it cost me my self respect. If you are ever tempted to hurt a company or a person or out of spite, please walk away. The temporary feeling of revenge isn't worth becoming the villain in your own story. Honestly, people won't take this advice. People won't take this advice of walking away. Revenge, honestly, to be frank, for me that I've actually experienced or done revenge, revenge is actually sweet. Most times there's no guilt. Most times there is no guilt. So you hacking to this advice is what's um, leaving your comfort zone. To be honest, you have to measure your revenge with the repercussion. You understand? Most times our revenge, like when I was in school, our revenge was really petty. was really petty. We didn't take it that serious. Instead that we didn't go to the extra mile to really make people that offend us pay. Mhm. But one thing you still need to know is that when it comes to revenge, when it comes to revenge, there's no thing that you do that will actually satisfy you for what the person actually did to you, except it will cost you or it will make you do something that you will actually regret if you were caught. If you were caught. That's when your revenge plan will actually satisfy you. But it will never satisfy you if you do an open revenge and you weren't caught. Sorry, and if you were caught, rather. Yes, and if you were caught. I don't know if you guys understand what I just said. I don't know if you guys understand what I just said. Okay. So the next one says, I'm a 47-year-old former logistics supervisor in a warehouse outside Detroit. And for nearly 7 years, I slowly stole thousands of dollars worth of office supplies, tools, and small equipment from my company because I felt underpaid and overlooked. I thought it was harmless until the day my action cost me a team investigation and I lost the only stable job I ever had. It started small. Take a pack of pens or a ream of paper home. Sorry, let me come again. I started small. I take a pack of pens or a ream of paper home by accident and never bring it back. Over time, it became deliberate. I load boxes of tapes, batteries, even small power tools into my trunk. After my shift, I told myself the company wasn't a big corporation that could afford it. And I told myself the company was a big corporation that could afford it. And I was just balancing the scales for all the overtime I work without proper pay. I hid everything in my garage and sold some items online or gave them to friends, but mostly I just kept them because having extra stuff made me feel like I was winning at life. The guilt crept in slowly after the guilt crept in slowly. At first, it was just a little voice when I saw my boss praise the team for staying under budget. Then it became full anxiety every time the inventory team did count. I started avoiding eye contact in meetings and making excuse to leave early. My wife noticed I was bringing home random supplies and asked questions I couldn't answer honestly. I lied and said I bought them cheap, but the lies piled up and made me distant at home. The breaking point came when the company installed new security cameras and started random audits. They noticed consistent shortage in the exact item I'd been taking. They put me into a meeting with HR and showed me the footage of me loading my car. I broke down and confessed everything because the total value was under a certain threshold and I had a long work history. They let me resign instead of pressing full charges, but still I had to pay restitution and my reputation in the industry was ruined. I spent I spent months unemployed applying for jobs where my background check will always came back with a theft flag. My wife was hot and confused, but she stayed with me, walked through it in counseling. I now work in a lower paying job in a different field and I volunteer on weekends, helping at a community supply drive for local schools, trying to give back what I once owed. That long-term petty theft didn't just cost me money and a job. It cost me my self-image as an honest man. Every time I see a pen on my desk now, I remember how one small choice repeated over over years can erode your life, your entire life. If you are tempted to take even just a little from your workplace, please stop today. The guilt grows heavier than anything you carry out. You carry out the door. You carry out the door. Wow. All this petitive at work. All this petitive. Nevertheless, but if you notice, most of them actually praise their spouse for always being there. Most of them actually praise their spouse for always being there, and that's nice. That's nice. Having a supporting partner is actually one of the best investments anybody, either male or female, um, having a supportive partner is the best investment you can actually make for yourself. Honestly, it's the best investment. Okay, so the next confession says, I am a 29-year-old former customer service representative in a call center in Phoenix, Arizona. And for almost 3 years, I regularly falsify my time shifts and called in fake sick days so I could have more time off while still getting paid. I thought I was just protecting my mental health until the company audit showed how much I had cost my team. Wow. The job was stressful with back to back calls and strict metrics. I started by adding 30 minutes here and there to my clock out time. Then began calling in sick. Okay. Wait, please, let me talk to my dog. Bubble, Bubble. Bubble.
You go bet me.
No, guys, no, guys. Now, lick it, lick.
Since the serious the fact that say you go feed me.
Okay. Sorry, that was my dog. Well, he was barking at my sister. That was my dog. He was barking at my sister. Okay. So let me just continue all over again. Okay, I'm a 29-year-old former customer service representative in a call center in Phoenix, Arizona, and for almost 3 years, I regularly falsified my time shift and called in fake sick days so I could have more time off while getting paid. I thought it was just protecting my mental health until company audit showed how much I had cost my team. The job was stressful with back-to-back calls and strict metrics. I started by adding 30 minutes here and there to my clock out time. Then I began calling in sick when I wasn't, using fake doctor notes I created on my computer. I spent those days running errands, binge watching shows, or just sleeping because the burnout was real. I convinced myself everyone else did it and the company was making huge profit anyway. But the guilt became constant. I see my teammate picking up extra shifts to cover for me. I feel sick during team meetings when the manager praised attendance. I shared at the floor. My best friend at work started struggling because she was always covering my calls and couldn't tell her the truth. The lies made me paranoid. The lies made me paranoid about every email and every schedule change. When the company switched to a new time tracking software that lacked consistencies, They pulled my record. The audit showed I had taken over 140 unaimed hours. They called me in and I admitted everything through tears. Because it wasn't massive fraud, they gave me the chance to resign and repay a portion through payroll deduction instead of legal action. But I still lost my job and health insurance, including references. It took me 6 months to find new job work and even longer to rebuild trust with my family. Now I have a strict personal rule about honesty at every job, and I volunteer as a mentor for young workers dealing with burnout. That time, that time, Tef didn't just cheat the company; he cheated my teammates who trusted me, and I cheated the version of myself who wanted to be reliable. If you are struggling with work stress, please walk to, to someone and or seek real time of instead of faking it. A short term relief creates a long term damage. So I like all these confessions today because of the advice they do give at the end. That's why I like them. We have three more confessions to go. You can see here is a bit rousy. That's why I don't do live sessions at this time. I always do it by the time I always do, which is hey, hello, with Melo. I just saw your chat now. So, how are you doing? Sorry for the background noises. This is not the time I usually do my live stream. Honestly, this is not the time usually do my live stream. Just that today I was too busy that um I didn't come on live on time. Melo, it's really nice to meet you. Okay, so I should read the second to last one. Okay, no, this is not the second to. This is like the third to last. This is like the third to last. So please, Rev, do well to subscribe and follow. And it says, I'm a 34-year-old former warehouse worker in a town outside Manchester, England. And one night, 4 years ago, I vandalized a former co-worker car with spray paint and scratches out of pure range after he got me fired. I thought it would make me feel better, but the shame has followed me every single day. We had argued at work over a shift swap, and he reported me for something minor that got me terminated. I was furious and broke. That same night, I drove to his house, waited until the street was quiet, and killed deep scratches along the side of his car. Wow. I remember someone doing this to an elderly man in my compound. It wasn't funny when they found out. But let's continue. That same night, I drove to his house, waited until the street was quiet, and killed deep scratches along the side of his car before spraying insulting words across the hood. I drove away feeling rush of revenge. But by the time I got home, reality hit me. I had damaged someone's property out of spite. The guilt kept me awake for weeks. I avoided the part of town. Com- I avoided that part of town completely. Wow, man, this one the guilt really caught him up. Were you caught that you are not avoiding that part of town completely? But let's continue. Every time I heard police sirens, I panicked thinking they had found me. I started deleting my social media and avoiding old colleagues because I was terrified someone would connect me to it. My girlfriend at that time noticed I was jumpy and distant, but I couldn't tell her what I did. Months later, the co-worker posted about the vandalism on a local community page, and the police started asking questions. I couldn't live with the secret anymore. I turned myself in, confessed, and paid full restitution plus a fine. Because it was first offense, I was cooperated I was cooperated. They gave me probation and community service instead of jail time. I had to write an apology letter that was read in court. That single night of vandalism cost me my freedom for months, my peace of mind for years, and the respect of people who once knew me as a decent guy. The now work in I now work in a completely different industry, and I make every decision I make comes from calm, not anger. If you are ever tempted to lash out and damage property when you are furious, please walk away. The temporary feeling of payback creates permanent regret that follows you. Wow. Wow. Oh, you have a confession. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, okay, okay. Do you know how we do it? Let me show you how I do it. I will put in now my email address. So my email address, then um you have to send it to me. No, it's actually completely anonymous. So I will read it immediately once I receive it. But if I am unable to receive it today, I'm going to read it for you tomorrow. Tomorrow. Okay. What do you think about? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? So that's the email address. That's my email address. So please send in your this thing, your confessions. Okay? Send in your confessions. Send in your confessions. Wow, this is the first time I'm having 4 persons live session with me. 4 persons. Thank you guys. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. I really appreciate guys. Please do where to follow. Do where to follow. Do where to follow. Okay. I'm trying to pin the comments, which is this first comment that I made in the chat box. I don't know, it's not working. I need to learn how to navigate through this app, honestly. I really need to learn how to navigate through this app. Please do where to follow me, guys. Now let me read the next what's it called? The next confession. The next confession. Let me read the next confession. Okay. So the next confession says that sorry says that I'm a 26-year-old former university student now working in a rental in a city in Washington State, and during my final year of college, I plagiarized large sections of my group research paper because I was overwhelmed with deadlines. I thought no one would notice, but it hurt my teammates and almost cost me my degree. The project was worth 40% of our grade, and I have fallen behind because of personal issues at home. Instead of asking for an extension, I copied paragraphs from online sources and an old paper a friend had written, then submitted. I, Wait, let me come back. Let me say that again. The project was worth 40% of our grade, and I had fallen behind because of personal issues at home. Instead of asking for an extension, I copied paragraph from online sources and an old paper a friend had written, then submitted it as our group work. I told the team I had revised everything and they trusted me. When the professor flagged the similarities in the report, the entire group was questioned. The guilt was immediate and crushing. I watched my teammates panic and defend themselves while I stayed silent. At first, I finally confessed to the professor and the group. They were hot and angry. One girl had stayed up all night on her part and felt betrayed. The professor gave the group a chance to redo the paper, but I received a failing grade on that assignment and academic probation. Wow, that's huge punishment too. Only probation should have been okay now. But let's continue. I almost lost my scholarship and had to explain the incident to my parents. The shame made me withdraw from social events on campus. I spent the rest of the semester making it up by helping other students with honest tutoring. I, st- I graduated with the mark stayed on my record. Sorry, I graduated, but the mark stayed on my record and made job application harder. Today, I'm extra careful with every piece of work I do, and I always give credit where it's due. That plagiarism didn't just fix my future, it damaged trust with people who counted on me. If you are ever tempted to take credit for someone else's words or work because you are overwhelmed, please don't. The short term relief destroys the long term integrity. Mhm. A relationship you can't easily repay. Wow. Wow. Okay. To be honest with you, that was actually fun. That was actually fun. Uh, Rev Melo, your, I've not seen your confession yet. I'm looking forward to seeing your confession. Okay, okay. I'm looking forward to seeing your confessions. And what do you guys think? Should I adjust the time that I do come up live? Should I adjust the time I do come on live? What do you guys think? Just let me know. What do you guys think? Thank Rev Melo for following me. I really appreciate it. Thank Rev Melo. So you guys should let me know what you guys think. Should I always come online during these times or not? Honestly, I was overwhelmed just now when I saw the number of people that have tagged into this live stream. I was actually overwhelmed. But let's continue. This is the last one, but Rev, if I receive your own, I'm going to read it. Yours will be the last one. Okay, I'm looking. Let me go and check my email if I've received it. I'm going to check my email if I've received it. Okay, I've not received it yet. I've not received it yet. Let me check my spam. Okay, it's not still yet in my spam. So you know what will happen with Melo is that once I receive it tomorrow, same time, by this same time, I will be live. I will be live to read it out. Okay, just know by the same time I'll be live to read it out. And honestly, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it because we'll be searching for confessions. All the confessions I do, we do search them on Reddit. We do search them on Reddit. Okay, I have to go now. I have to go now. I don't know. I'm having sore throat. I believe you can hear it from my voice. I'm having sore throat. So, Rev Melo, tomorrow, please. Tomorrow, please. And tomorrow I'm going to stay long. I always stay for at least 2 hours before. Tomorrow I'm going to stay long. I was even unable to finish all my confessions I had today. And tomorrow will be better. I don't know what's wrong with my voice this evening. I don't just know. Okay, now tomorrow, please.